Hello, my loves. I'm jumping on to talk to you about indulgence and my views on why indulgence isn't bad. And this conversation was brought up for me yesterday, talking to a friend, and it just really showed how different my perspective is on, these things of indulgence, of receiving pleasure, of making time for sensual experiences. So for me, indulgence isn't a bad thing. I think when we think as a society of indulgence, we're actually thinking of overindulgence, and we're thinking of unconscious activity or unconscious indulgence. So eating that family size chocolate bar, wolfing it down as you watch something on the telly, and know that you're feeling sick and uncomfortable as you finish it off, but you just keep doing it because you want to eat the whole thing. And there's kind of this sick satisfaction from overindulgence. There's kind of a sense of feeling something, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's unpleasant. And we can do that kind of mindless activity of indulgence, unconscious indulgence. We can do that because we're trying to feel something different, we're trying to feel something at all, or we're trying to mask other feelings. True indulgence is a feminine, energetic experience. It's like receiving. It's like allowing yourself to be worshipped, allowing yourself to be seen, allowing yourself to be helped, allowing yourself to be loved. And there is, from my perspective, my personal, but also what I see in clients, in friends, in people I work and know, is as a society, and I speak as a Western woman, we're not very good at receiving. We've kind of been brought up on this value system that we must give, that we must achieve, that we must help, we must be of service. And our value is how productive and useful we are, which means we don't value or carve out enough time to receive. And another aspect of this can be as a woman in a sexual relationship with a man, for example, and that's the only experiences I have to share, is we can be geared with the focus that we've got to please our partner, we've got to give, and actually slowing down and allowing ourselves to receive pleasure can be really difficult, because the mind can be like, they must be bored, that I know I'm not enjoying this because I'm thinking about other things, or just not connecting to the act of pleasure, not willing to slow down enough to receive it. And that can come from a deeper place of, as I say, not being educated in that being a part of a holistic human experience that has value and is needed to nourish us. But it can also come from a place of lacking in self-worth. I'm not worthy to receive this attention. I'm not worthy to receive this pleasure. I'm not good enough. So going back to indulgence, it's a real opportunity at the moment when we can't get our quick fixes, outside of ourselves, or we can't get all of them. Yeah, I, for one, take great pleasure in my food shop. Always have, always will. So for me, that pleasure is still possible. But what I'm getting at is we have to now look at how we used to deal with life in perhaps a fast and unconscious way, where we would seek and find immediate gratification, or perhaps where we would do things mindlessly. We have an opportunity to be a bit more internal and introspective, to really be and develop consciousness in terms of what we do and why we do it. And it isn't, always what we want to do, and sometimes we need to not do it. So if you're struggling at the moment, if you're dealing with anxiety, depression, frustration, sadness, this isn't a video or a suggestion to create another stick to beat yourself with. But it's to use this act of indulgence to bring more consciousness, awareness, and appreciation of what you have that you can indulge in. And the best example that I can provide in terms of an act of indulgence being a conscious act of awareness, as opposed to the overindulgence, which is out of balance and unconscious, to my mind, in most experiences, is to do a food meditation. So it's been part of a mindfulness practice that I've known about, since before I started yoga in 2015. But I've also done it on retreats and in immersions, and I've also facilitated it in my courses. And it's a really, really interesting way to look at how you eat and how consciously you eat and go through the sensory process. So what I'm inviting you to do is to take something small, and it can be a raisin, a date, a dried apricot, even a square of chocolate, whatever it is. You can do it with your herbal tea, just anything that you want to take a moment just to explore this with. And instead of just mindlessly consuming, okay, mindful eating and this conscious meditation is about indulging in the sensory experience of that eating, of eating that one item. So I invite you you bring it up and you look at it, and you look at what you can see, the colours, the textures, the size, the shape, what it reminds you of, does that, even looking at it and studying it, does it make you feel adverse, or does it make you feel excited? Are you more interested in eating this item or less? Have you ever stopped to look at it before? So you look at it and you bring it up to your eye. And again, what will happen is at some point on this sensual journey, in this indulgence of the senses, you'll start to notice the saliva starts to build up in the mouth, because your body is getting ready to process this raisin, date, whatever it is. So you start with sight, and touch, feel it in your fingers. How does it feel? Is it soft? Is it ribbed? Is it melting? Is it getting a bit messy? Okay, and then you smell it, and you can close your eyes through all of this, apart from when you're looking at it, but smell it. And what does the smell evoke in you? Is it memories of something in the past, or memories of the last time you ate it? And are they happy memories? Are they negative memories? And there's no judgment here or attachment. It's just the power of observation, the indulgence of that. So then you smell it, and then you bring it to your mouth and you lick it, and you just start to feel it with your tongue. And then you put it into your mouth, and you don't chew, you just sit it on your tongue. And again, you observe what's happening in the mouth, and you observe how it feels in the mouth. And then eventually you can bring your teeth to touch, to see how tender or taut it is. And then you can begin to mindfully macerate and chew or swallow whatever it is that you've put in your mouth. And again, feel that process of swallowing it. And if you do this mindfully, if you do this as a meditation, if you do this as an indulgence, like I'm going to worship this piece of chocolate, and I'm going to receive the nourishment, and I'm going to embark on this experience with this piece of chocolate, you will then probably be full, be sated, be satisfied, rather than that mindless consuming of a whole big chocolate bar or a whole big pizza, or whatever it is that leaves you feeling, your body feeling bloated and uncomfortable, and that nagging thought saying, I wish I hadn't done all that. Guilt is a wasted emotion. I never encourage us, regardless of what we do, to spend time and energy then feeling guilty about it. So I will overeat. I do not practice this all the time, but I offer it up to you as an opportunity to really start to connect with what indulgence means, to what indulgence can bring in terms of sensory pleasure experiences, and how much more we can open ourselves up with the mundane activities by being a bit more mindful, by being a bit more conscious, to bring in pleasure, to bring in indulgence, to bring in sensual experiences, and to slow down enough to appreciate it. I live alone, and I will eat in front of the TV. It's comfort, it's routine, it's ritual, and it's something that I know I do more of at the moment. But to sit in silence and actually have that food experience, again, is something that I have spent time doing when I've been on my own, but also obviously more so living in ashrams and spiritual communities. There's a whole level of respect and reverence for food. And it's not about, it's not about the material or the results. It's about the experience. And as I've been saying in my videos, the world may be shut out to us right now, but our inner world and our inner experience can be more expansive than ever. It's just about where we choose to focus our energies and how we choose to approach it. So I invite you to bring in some indulgence. Maybe it's a foot bath, and really, putting on some nice music and having aromatherapy oils and smells, and just having your feet in that warm water and noticing how that feels, rather than doing it as you're, on your phone, scrolling social media and watching something on TV. Like, bring the mindfulness, bring the sensory experience to one thing, because that's where you actually start to feel and connect to the indulgence. And that's when it truly can nourish yourself, your soul, your body, your mind, and help you start to understand that you are a beautiful, worthy being who deserves to receive pleasure, and that ultimately you're the gatekeeper of that. So it all falls on you. And then as soon as you believe that, and as soon as you cultivate that, you'll start seeing and receiving it in the external world. But as I say, you're the gatekeeper, and it all starts within. So go and be indulgent, my loves. Go and bring pleasure. Could be self-massage, whatever. Just slow it down, be present, and know that you're worthy to receive it. Much, much love.